monsters out your window. No, you can't sleep, you pretend though. You don't have to play the hero. Cause I got you like you got me. When the earth shakes, when the bombs scream, until our last breath, every heartbeat.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I'm your host of Virgan Radio Service, Grant Magic, also the dictator of the Republic of New Strathclyde. That was a funky piece of music. I actually really enjoyed that. That was Bezemoth and Arcando and Neone Army, an NCS release, which you can find in the description below if you enjoyed that. Today I have on VRS. I have the premiere of the, actually forget the official title of the state, but Crimson. Ashton Mattingly. How are you today?
How's it going? I'm doing all right. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm fine, man. I'm fine. How's it going?
It's going pretty good, man. I'm excited to be here. Been wanting to be on the radio service for quite some time.
Good. Well, that's good that you've been looking forward to it, because God knows I have too. Sorry, that came off as really sarcastic, but you know it wasn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just have to collect myself for the moment.
It's okay.
Anyway, we're here to obviously discuss the Crimson Socialist Republic Is that it?
Yes, you got it right.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. So this is going to be a proper interview. There was no proper interview last week. It was just things on the geofiction, which you were there. You were there during that talk as well when we had Dan Morris and Joe Gigameister on talking about the geofiction world that they'd made.
Yeah, and I didn't contribute
Yes.
too much to the conversation. I was really there just. I said something here and there, but
It's
nothing too much.
It's kind of like
I
that.
try to let them explain themselves more.
Yeah, it's kind of like that scene in the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie that was made in 2002 when Willy Wonka is going about dissing all the kids and he turns to Charlie and says, "Well, you're just lucky to be here, aren't you?"
Yes.
But yeah.
That's exactly how I felt, man.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're just gonna talk a little bit about Crimson, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the community and how you feel about the community. So the first question that I do have for you is why did you found Crimson?
Well, going back to way before its foundation, here's a little backstory to Crimson's foundation. Originally, when I joined the community, I was brought into the Libertalian Socialist Republic. I don't remember if that was the official title, but that was ran by Ronnie Miller, which all of you may know. And I was with Ronnie, Gabriel Sebastian, and Trace Kimes for about a month until we all decided to split off and form our own republic because we felt lots of inefficiencies with how Libertalia was run. And that splintered off into a nation we now know as Haston, which really was where I got my first taste of political life in the micronational community. I was the chairman of the National Workers' Party of Haston, which was my attempt at having a communist party in Haston. And I think besides the short-lived Blue Initiative, I was the only leftist party in Haston. All the others were more on the right side of the political. But after Haston, well, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Later, Haston became Nordstern, and then I backed out because I felt like the National Workers' Party wasn't going anywhere within Haston or Nordstern. And I then decided to split off into the DPRC, the Democratic People's Republic of Crimson. And this was my first attempt at a nation, and I'm going to be completely honest, it was pretty bad. I was not very well theorized in Marxist theory, and a lot of the time I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. Excuse my language, but I really had no idea what I was talking about. The DPRC was shortly lived as Ethan Brown, which we all know and have come to despise. Me and him decided that we were going to form a sort of union, but the way it was ran, it was more of a confederation. So Ethan and I decided, hey, we're going to form this union called the Union of Crimsonian Socialist Republics. Because, you see, I had tried giving my attempt at making an ideology centered around socialism with American characteristics and shit. And that one was it was an interesting ideology, but it didn't have much going for it. But anywho, Ethan, under the banner of the People's Republic of Lahail, and me under the flag of the DPRC, we decided to create the UCSR, which shortly later, Kay Mattingly, my girlfriend, she joined in with her nation, which was known as and is known as today as the United Democratic Nation of Nova. And shortly after I was hospitalized, this was shortly after the founding of the Union, I was hospitalized for suicidal tendencies. And during that time, Ethan, who I considered a very close friend, really betrayed my trust. He sexually harassed my girlfriend, which is Kaylee, and that put a pretty quick end to our friendship right there, as I'm sure you can imagine. And Kaylee and I continued as the UCSR all the way up until November 10th, I believe. And then I had gotten news that she was actually going to be moving down here. So I came up with this great idea to completely unify both our nations under a single flag. And so we decided to reform the Union and turn into the Socialist Federal Republic of Crimson. And in my opinion, it was one of the brightest times for Crimson because we were actually well known and we had some prominence within the community. And it was a pretty great time to be around. But that rendition of Crimson was also shortly lived because it was either late January or early February. We went on a hiatus because there was personal issues going on, and we decided to shut it down for a little bit. And then Kaylee splintered off and went back to Nova. And here early in March, it was the middle of March, I was like, you know what, let's give this micronation thing another slap. Or, that was a stupid way of me saying it. I was like, let's have another whack at it, why not? And so I decided to come up with the Crimson Socialist Republic, which now has an actual ideology instead of this Crimsonian socialism BS. And during my hiatus, I really delved into Marxist theory. I started studying Marxism, Leninism, Maoism, which is now the official state ideology of Crimson. And it's working out so far. I mean, granted, it's just me within Crimson at the moment, but I'm hoping to get some more people on board. Why I created I wanted to actually have another communist force in the community, because Ronnie Miller, he dropped out. He was like, oh well, this was a waste of my time, blah blah blah. And I was like, you know what, it's time for me to take over and start leading some communism here. And with me bringing in communism into the community, that wasn't really me, that was more Ronnie, but me furthering it, I helped co-found the Solidarity Sovereignty Coalition, which was an organization designed to bring together communists so we could together strive for the goal of communism. But our purpose here is to work on. Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Crimson's purpose is to further socialism and hopefully achieve communism in our and then help others achieve it. But what were you?
Okay, well, that was a very good answer. It was very very extended. But you know, thank you for the clarification. Yeah.
Of course.
I see that you have an admirer in the live chat right now. Which is
I do.
yeah, it's really funny. But anyway, so let's talk about the projects that Crimson has right now. Obviously, one of the projects is to establish a citizenship base. Are there any other projects right now?
One of our projects right now is kind of, you know, trying to establish sort of our own economy, like becoming self-reliant, not needing outside support, and we're trying to make it to where we don't need the outside world for our advancement of socialism. By self-reliance, I mean complete and entire economic independence, social independence, and no loyalty to anybody else but our own nation.
Good. So
and of course our allies.
yeah. So so one of the projects is a self-sufficient economy. Like that's particularly difficult with a small citizenship base. Obviously, real
Oh, yeah.
macro nations that have small citizenship bases like Luxembourg and Andorra are quite self-sufficient and are quite reliant on what they produce, because it sells for quite a lot of money in other countries. The Swiss, obviously, with their banking, Luxembourg has the highest rate of millionaires as well, which is quite cool. Luxembourg is a tiny little country between Germany, France, and Belgium, which is you know, really good. So what about future projects? So obviously the projects that you've got going right now are trying to establish yourself as self-sufficient and trying to gain a citizenship base. What about future projects? Is there anything in the immediate future for Crimson?
Well, future projects are kind of hard to tell right now, but I would like to actually establish a fully functioning party. You know, to have that, you have to have an actual citizen base, which is why gaining citizens right now is very important. But for future future projects, I'd like to actually set up a talk show here, like the VRS. I think that kind of a cool thing to do. But that's down the line. That's after we actually get a PC to stream this kind of stuff and actually have people on to, you know, talk. But immediately, our projects are self-sufficiency economically, and actually gaining a citizenship base.
Yeah, excellent. Obviously, one of the things that you did name is, we spoke about this because we were on call for quite a few hours before the
Yes.
Yeah, we were on call for a few hours before this interview, and I did mention something along the lines of that people actually come to me asking for permission about starting their own podcast series, like I'm the gatekeeper for it. Just to let you know,
Yeah.
I am not the gatekeeper for establishing your own podcast series. I do this purely out of fun, out of joy. It brings a little bit of light to your guys' world. Please don't ask me. I don't care what you do. It is really not for me to be dictating what people can and can't do in the community. So you know. But again, it is good to have your own podcast series like this. If you can do it, realistically, then fair enough.
Yeah, like
So
don't call it Virgan Radio Service, of course. Like, make it your own thing. But Grant here is not the gatekeeper of, talk shows and radio services. Like, you're free to do whatever you want within your own borders. Just don't, steal someone else's idea.
yeah, exactly.
Like, podcasts existed long before Grant's time.
Yes, they most certainly did. So let's talk about the organisations that you're currently part of. You've also got a really major like project going on as well, which I want to talk about. So you obviously mentioned being part of the SSC or the Solidarity and Sovereignty Coalition, or is it the other way around?
Yes.
Okay,
No,
good.
it's Solidarity Sovereignty.
Yes, I
Coalition.
nailed it. I'm also part of this organisation, just to view
Yes, you are.
how communist and socialist nations function. But if you can give us a little bit of insight into into what your role is there.
Okay. Well, my official position within the organization is chairman, and that comes directly under president. And Jared of the United People's Republic of Socialist Prussia is the president of the organization. Though I would like for us in the future to hold an actual election to give out these roles and whatnot, and act as if we were an actual central committee, because that's one of the things that I haven't really seen with the SSC yet. It's been more like one person takes charge, and I'd like for us to, go to the democratic aspects of socialism instead of just one person making the decisions for the organization. It isn't all just one person, running the show. It's all of us. We all contribute to it. We all share our ideas, and we try to put, the people's will to practice. It's just, it's kind of harder right now because given community events, we've actually, teamed up with USOV to combat these issues, because, they're just big no-nos.
Yeah. You've also been recently accepted into the new United Sovereignties. We've yet to see anything there right now. In terms of your contributions to the use of again, you're a new member, and I hope that you become well versed within the use of, because you are actually part of the use of that got disbanded in February.
Yes.
Which
I
really was a shame that happened. But anyway,
It was.
and also you did mention that you're on a project due to the recent calamities in the community. What's this new and recent project?
What do you mean? What do you mean new project?
Micro Lexicon.
Oh! Jesus, how did I forget about that? Micro Lexicon. I can't believe I forgot about that.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I feel super stupid now.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
But no, Micro Lexicon. It's a brand new micronational Wikipedia. And yes, it is in opposition to the micro wiki, which has been very much a part of the accusations of Daniel Morris's alleged actions. We're not going to get into that as per your request. But we're running this project known as Microlexicon to ensure that people have a platform to freely express their nation and their ideals, but of course in a respectful and controlled manner. And it's really great what we've done with it so far. I really have to hand it to Archduchy of Pennsylvania, Caden I, or Caden the First. He has done tremendous work in setting it up, and Kaylee has done tremendous work helping set up the Discord and whatnot. And once you get a hold of how fandom works, because yes, that's where Microlexicon is set up, it becomes really easy to work on it. But yes, it's pretty great, and for anyone watching, I would hope that you'd write up a page for your nation on there, because you can.
Good. Obviously, this micro lexicon has been created and established in opposition to the micro wiki. The micro wiki Discord server, the admins right now are imposing a dictatorship on people's freedom of speech to talk about certain things in the community right now.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, they are doing it right now as we speak, and banning people from the Discord server who don't agree with what they are saying, which is absolutely fucking disgusting. But yeah, I have to I have to hand it to Ashton, Kay, and Caden as well, who have set this whole thing up in response to MicroWiki. Can
I throw one more thing in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we still are looking for more leadership positions. Like, we want people to be a part of it. Like, you message me on Twitter at CSR_gov. You can message me there, and I can get you an invite to the Microlexicon server. We're just looking for more people to become a part of it so we can grow and spread the influence of it. Well, not really influence, but, popularity and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. That's, it's really good. I have to hand it to the three of you. I wouldn't it's not my idea as per se, but like the reason that I had a certain group chat was to rebuild the community and pretty much leave the members of the GUM out of the community, as they're trying to impose their non-existent authority. And what you, Caden and Kay, have all done with what that chat room was about is, absolutely amazing. You've given people somewhere to feel safe to talk about things that are happening right now, and no, like, you three aren't going to shut people up, and that's that's exactly what I wanted to see. So thanks to the three of you for doing that for the community.
It wasn't just us though. Like, you have to hand it to both the USOV and SSC for setting aside their differences and actually coming together to
Definitely.
unite and do all this, because it wasn't just our three contributions. It was everybody who has been a part of Microlexicon so far, and it's truly been great, man. And I can't wait to see it grow more in the future.
Yeah, I have absolutely no doubt that it will become a worthy competitor, and if things keep up in the MicroWiki Discord server, I have no doubt that it will be better than MicroWiki. But moving on, let's talk about the subject of the community. Oh yay!
Have fun.
I've been looking forward to this part. So I can't exactly remember what kind of questions that I used to ask. Obviously, when I did VRS way back in the day, late season 1 and season 2 was all based on kind of the same questions, which was, is there anything in the community right now that concerns yourself?
There is, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it.
You can talk about it, just don't specifically mention what's happening. Just say it without actually saying it.
The current situation between the GUM and New Westphalia's great president. And I mean great in all realness, because yes, he's fucking magnificent. But this deeply concerns me, because not only is it expressing how toxic the community can be, it's expressing how mob rule and misinformation can really turn the tide of community opinions, and how it can affect the individual that is affected by these accusations. And I'm sure most everybody who's viewing here has had some little part in it, or at least heard about what's. But it deeply concerns me, because Dan is a very close friend, and I just know he wouldn't do any of the things he's been alleged to do. And it upsets me that so many people are blindly believing some obscure screenshots without, actually delving into the facts and actually pulling more and questioning the evidence that was given, the quote-unquote evidence. And it's upsetting for me. But the resolve that certain parts of the community are... The resolve of the community, which, in my opinion, is this USOV SSC alliance, I've seen great things come from it so far, and it's making me very, very happy. And I'm just astonished that this collaboration between our two factions is actually bringing some good to the community, even though right now it is in a state of chaos. I'm pretty sure everybody agrees with that. But my views on the current state of the community are 50-50. There's a lot of bad going on, but there's also some good, and I'm glad to see the good that's coming from it.
Definitely.
I you first.
No, after you. You're the guest.
Okay.
You must finish.
But seeing the fact that I have set aside some differences with politically politically opposite people of me, let's put it that way. The fact that I'm setting aside my differences with them really shows me that I'm doing some good in the benefit of the collective. And I'm really happy to see that me setting aside some of my differences have brought about some good in the community. And I'm glad to see that others have put aside their differences and have come together to say, no, we're not going to listen to the gum, and we are going to dictate our own actions. And it's great. It's really great.
Definitely. Are there any changes that you want to see within the community? Just before Ashton answers this question, we will be going into live audience question time. So if the live audience has any questions for Ashton or myself, please feel free to post them. But do not post questions that may be offensive. Do not post questions that come off as hostile, please. As I have seen in the chat room and the live chat, there has been some hostile things said between people. Please stop that. Please do not bring it here. Okay.
Oopsie, I've been called a Bolshevik.
Yeah. Anyway. So the question.
Pretty sure that's Duncan, but
yeah. The next question that I had for you is there any relevant changes that you would like to make to the community to make it better?
I'd like to see more understanding among people. I'd like for more people to actually sit down with political opponents and come to understand their beliefs and their views and why they see those views. Learning from one's enemy can really enlighten not you, but it can enlighten. I'm not saying like accept a Nazi for 6 million. Sorry, I don't want to get that video taken down.
No, that's fine.
But I'm not saying like go and join their ideology, go and follow their beliefs. I'm just saying sit down and understand them. When they acknowledge that you understand them, they're going to be open to understand you and hear your views and beliefs. And this as a change would bring about a lot more peace to the community, because people will, be more educated, be more enlightened on people's views, and actually form a good argument against or for these things. But I wouldn't say, go be the fucking savior of the community and go on and say that all Nazis bad, that's just bad, blah, 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 like that. Or all communists bad, all capitalists bad. Even though, you may hold those beliefs, you need to put logic and fact before feeling. And I feel like in my year of being in this community, I've seen feeling take over more than which I'm sure you can agree with that, Grant.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
I'm sure you've seen that yourself.
It was a talking point before the interview. Unfortunately, people's
Yes.
feelings do let them get the better of themselves. It's pretty good that someone of your age is telling other people to go out and try and at least understand the other side, and when they feel acknowledged, they'll be more acknowledged. They'll feel to that they will acknowledge you in return. The community is very tit for tat that way. If someone feels like they are being listened to, they will feel a greater inclination to listen to you and your ideology and your ideas, etc, etc, etc. But I do actually have a question for you, and it's from someone that you know well. Cherry Gasoline asks, what inspires you to work towards improving your micronation / the community as a whole?
Seeing a lot of negativity come from the national world, the UN scale, it inspires me to advocate for change. Because in the society in which we live, there is a overwhelming amount of bad opposed to good. More people are driven by money and are more instead of, wanting people to be happy, to be free, to be generally happy with life. And the reason I run this project known as the Crimson Socialist Republic is because I want, even if I can't get onto macro national scale, I at least want to see some change within which is this micronational community. This is my community. I want to see some happiness, some joy, some laughter, I don't want to see all this bitterness and hostility towards it, because it's not progressive. It's very, very stupid in my opinion. And it just leads to inefficiency. It's not worth it.
No, definitely not. Cherry Gasoline, I hope that answered your question. The next question comes from your secret admirer, a guy. A guy asks, what / who introduced you to communism? For anyone who's watching this after it's been posted and it's not live, this guy's account is actually called a guy. This is not obscure, I promise. But yeah, a guy asks, what / who introduced you to communism?
Well, I'm gonna be honest, and all of y'all at home are probably gonna laugh as well. But memes actually introduced me to communism. That being, the USSR anthem meme. That's what introduced me to communism. But slowly but surely, I start listening to more and more communist music, and that really, it really put the question in my head, what is this? And it put the ambition to learn about it in my head. And I was like, okay, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna see what this is. So during the later half of my 8th grade year, I started reading up on history of socialist nations, 20th century nations like the USSR, Cuba, DPRK, China, all those sorts of countries. And this extended on into the summer of 2018. And during the summer, I used to stay up a lot, very late at night, because, I was a rebellious kid, blah, blah, blah. But I started studying Cuba and the Cuban Revolution, which, fun fact, wasn't inherently a communist revolution. It was just supposed to reform the fascist society and turn it into a more democratic society. And then it later became communist, or not really communist, but Marxist-Leninist based, in opposition to the United States imperialism on the nation of Cuba and the friendliness of the USSR. And then I started studying Russian history, particularly the October Revolution and Bolshevik movements. And slowly but surely I became an anarchist, a very dark time in my history. But later I started talking to more and more people, learning more, and slowly my views turned more towards libertarian socialism, which isn't Marxism, but it was something. And then I finally sit down and I read the Communist Manifesto. And this is where I can say my ideas really started taking off. And my ambitions to be a communist really came to prominence. And after reading the Communist Manifesto, I started studying more history, studying philosophers, studying the revolutionaries. And slowly but surely I became more well-versed, and I became more theorized, and I understood more. And, well, now I'm here. That's basically how it went.
Now you're here. I hope that answered your question, a guy. Thank you for the very obscure fucking handle. But yes, it's very funny. But yeah, I do hope that answered your question. It was a totally valid question. It's quite interesting that modern meme culture did actually turn you over to and to communism, and through what you've seen in meme culture, you then slowly progressed to researching communism, socialism, etc. Now I'm not a communist or a socialist per se, but one of my favourite socialist nations was actually the DDR. I actually have a T-shirt right from
East
Berlin.
Germany.
I have a T-shirt from Berlin, like that has the DDR seal on it, and
Dude,
it says
nice.
DDR as well. It's so cool. It's one of my favorite T-shirts. But yeah, it's good that even through modern meme culture, you did actually progress onto researching and even reading the manifestos. Kingfish asks opinions on dry wertism.
I can't really give too solid of an opinion on the ideology of Dravidism, but it's interesting. What I've read about the little part of the Nordic elements of it, it's very interesting, but in all risk, I can't give you too much opinion on that, but it sounds pretty solid. I just need to hear more about it, and I need to hear the full extent of what it tries to go and achieve and whatnot.
Okay. I've actually never heard this term before. This dry wertism. It kind of looks German, like the first four letters are dry, meaning three in German. I'm not pretty sure what wert is, but it's again, I've got no idea what this means. Would you like
Well,
to explain?
I know it's an ideology made by Gabe because I saw it on the microlexicon,
Hmm.
and
Uh,
the
uh,
only part about it that I really remember was the three values.
yeah,
Three values.
three values.
That's what it means.
What does
But
it mean? What does it mean? This three values thing. Do you know what it means, or is it better?
I'm not sure what it
better
means.
left to ask someone who actually knows what the subject is. Yeah, I'll just ask someone else when we come off stream.
Yes.
Opinion or critique of fascism, asks a guy.
Honestly, my opinion on fascism is it isn't all that bad until, it starts getting bad. Like with Italian imperialism in Africa and whatnot, how Mussolini tried to reform the Roman Empire. That's a critique I don't like. Its values, though, like traditionalism and whatnot, it's not too bad. In all realness, I wouldn't consider myself to be a fascist because it doesn't line up with my beliefs. I believe in more of a progressive mindset while still maintaining some conservative beliefs, like the family structure and whatnot. But I do support progressive ideas like feminism and gay rights. So that's really my opinion on fascism.
Excellent.
But Mosley's British Union of Fascists was though it was short-lived. It's very interesting to look at.
Yeah, I remember a conversation about that. A conversation about that on the Cowdonia Discord server with someone else. It wasn't really about what it was. It was more about what the name stood for. Again, I haven't, even though I live here, I haven't really heard of the British Union of Fascists. I mean, if you're asking for my opinion on fascism, I think some of the things that World War II fascism did was very good. Of course, Germany pulled itself out of an economic crisis and whatnot.
Here's the thing about Nazi Germany. It wasn't fascist.
You said the word.
See, Nazism and fascism are two separate ideologies, though National Socialism took some ideas from fascism and socialism and combined those together. But it wasn't, fascism like it was seen in Italy and Britain with the BUF.
Yeah. But anyway, like again, I can't really say too much on fascism other than what I've been told from the time I was at school, and I've been told and I've learned that fascism is linked to Nazi Germany. So I don't really tend to go too far down that road, to be quite honest. Again, that's just if you're asking for my opinion, which I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but anyway, it's
a common misconception.
Yeah, that's all the questions that we have had. Do you have any questions for me, Ashton? That this is totally unrelated to the questions that you had for me before the interview. If you've got any questions for me, you can ask them.
Well, I don't have any questions for you, but I'm looking here in the live chat, and I'm seeing what Kingfish put as what the three values are.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And what he said was it combines the three main values of the political compass: socialism, liberty, and ultranationalism. Um, what I have to say on that is, I don't. I think socialism and ultranationalism don't go together all that well. Ultranationalism is where you're completely isolated and you're like, everybody bad, I'm the best. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Isn't
I
that
like
North
seeing
Korea?
No, no, because North Korea actually has diplomatic missions to other socialist nations like Cuba,
Oh, fair enough.
and arguably China. But though it would seem North Korea is very isolationist, they do still hold the socialist beliefs of internationalism and international cooperation. But internationalism is a very broad term.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but other than that, that's my opinion on that.
Anyway, yeah, I think we're gonna end it off here right now. Thanks for the questions that you guys had at home. Obviously we're still all in lockdown from the coronavirus. The UK's just issued another 3 weeks of lockdown, so content will be regular, and there will be an interview and a conspiracy every week for you guys to watch. So just be safe during the pandemic. Again, like I'm just gonna recant what I've been recanting every video. Don't go outside only when you need to. Wash your hands, etc. I thank you guys at home for watching. Ashton, thanks for being on and teaching us some communism, socialism, etc.
Don't mention it, man.
But it'd be nice to have you back on at some point in the future as well.
Of course, I'm down.
Yeah, definitely. Again, thanks everyone at home for watching. Thanks to Ashton again, and we'll see you all tomorrow when we talk about the lost city of Atlantis on the conspiracy crew. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. I had fun doing Sasquatch by myself last week. Thank you. But yeah, tune in tomorrow for that. Again, thanks everyone.